All right, greetings and salutations, everyone. Today, what I want to do is I'm going to be doing a lot of reading. I know many of you guys, it's really tough, so just stick it out. What we're going to review is basically we have the European ecosystem. They were talking about they're talking about the European ecosystem, and this is basically about Holochain in Europe. I'm going to go back up here. This is page 76. Basically, the European Commission is talking about just scanning the European ecosystem of distributed ledger technologies for social and public good. What, why, where, how, and ways to move forward. This is really awesome. I honestly wish that, beggars can't be choosers, but I really wish that my country would do something like this. They are reviewing a whole lot of different, I should say, the European, I guess, a lot of the countries in the European area are looking at different ways to actually use distributed ledger technology. So we're going to go ahead and get started right now. Let's see here. All right, so many of you guys already know a lot of these things. If you're driving, this might be a good time to just go ahead and concentrate on the road because there's really nothing to see. So please don't drive and watch the screen. For many of you other guys, if you can see this, I'll post this. I'll put this on I'll link this up and put it on the in the comment section, or excuse me, in the description below. All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so Holochain is an open source data integrity engine that enables the self-hosting of P2P apps on distributed web user autonomy built directly into its architecture and protocols. Holochain avoids the need for global consensus and aims for massive scalability as well as user control of identity and data. Distributing the storage and processing of this information can change how people coordinate and interact and give back control on digital integration. I'm just going to interrupt to say I just want to thank, I believe it was somebody on YouTube, I can't remember, on Twitter, and he had a link to this, and this enabled me to actually check this out, and I thought this would be good to share. So kudos to you, and thank you for sharing that on Twitter. I am really bad with names, so I apologize. The organization, nonprofit organization Holochain, and for-profit startup Holo. You guys have to understand as well, Holochain and Holo are two different entities. Their headquarters in Gibraltar, established in 2017. 9 women in a core group of 30 people. This might have changed. I'll explain later why that may have changed. But let's go over it. It says, Holochain positions itself by asking what comes after blockchain. It offers a new type of open source development framework and networking protocol, where the goal is to provide a seamless experience to web users that operates in similar ways to a normal web app, but without the need of a central entity. Holochain applications, or HAPs, are held entirely by users with no trusted third parties as mediators. They enable direct architecture consent and cryptographic communication. This lets people provide value into a sharing framework, not into a centralized one where gatekeeper organizations usually extract all financial and other resources. Every user runs the application in their own device, creates and stores their own data, and talks directly to other users. The proposal is compared to lightweight, secure, decentralized computing possible on mobile devices. Main use cases are decentralized governance and collaboration, sharing economy and platform co-ops, supply chain wins, and social communities, and social media, social networks, and vendor links. Intersections with social and public good. Holochain allows its end users, as ordinary users of the internet, to experiment with new decentralized organization structures and build upon them, helping people control and own their data towards what is deemed as a new regenerative economy and a more human internet. It also aims to provide a decentralized capacity at scale that improve DLT sustainability arguments by requiring reduced amounts of energy consumption compared with DLT architectures like the major blockchain platforms. I have a lot of have a lot of reading to do. I apologize about all that. It just seems like okay. So how it started. Holochain emerged as part of a Scepter project. Scepter is a rebuild of technology, communications, currency stack, mimicking natural patterns of coordination. With a wide variety of features in terms of protocols, its main purpose is a quantum of deep inhuman coordinative capacity. The main framework came from the Meta Currency project. I've mentioned this before. This project looks at currencies not just as money, but more as currencies, not just flows of exchanges of goods and services, but as elements that help to manage flow as means of caring, sharing, and giving, which is how the intended uses for currencies are ultimately modeled in this context. When blockchain emerged, the initial Scepter team wanted to take a small piece of it and make a new version that would interface with more contemporary systems. An internal group met regularly to discuss developing their ideas from concept to implementation and create the shift from a visionary project to a more practical one. They named it Holochain to compete with blockchain and show a viable model for scaling that blockchain was not suited to accomplish in their view. Now, I do believe that there's a lot of confusion because a lot of people may hear Holochain and they're like, oh, it's another chain. We got VeChain and we got Chainlink and all these chains. And, you know, it kind of gets convoluted within the space. And so, but they named it Holochain to complete with blockchain so that people will understand that this is not blockchain. It's something past blockchain, an upgraded version of blockchain. Hence the reason why I'm invested in Holochain, me personally. Now, the funding models, it says MetaCurrency came first. It is a nonprofit initiative that does not have any funding. Scepter began similarly, but someone showed interest in funding and made it possible to create Holochain and Holohost. Holohost was created to sustain Holochain. The former is a for-profit company that operates as a hosting network. This is the revenue strategy for maintaining the open source infrastructure of Holochain. Holochain is currently a nonprofit foundation that owns Holohost. Holohost began an initial community offering on Ethereum of a token that was a placeholder for Holofuel, the currency run in Holochain. Notice you guys, it says placeholder there. All right, governance structures. There is no formalized governance in the Holo ecosystem. Multiple participatory channels are in place and decision-making emerges as ongoing dialogue between numerous actors. Nevertheless, the governance of Holochain aggregates several more or less decentralized layers, from investors and fund managers to developers and other core team members. Holochain enables a set of agreements encoded in the application, with each node being compared to organic cell, which can mutually direct action and ensure that rules are being followed. No node has special power over any other nodes. Contrast between roles, capacities, and the concept of having limited to non-hierarchical elements have created tensions. Furthermore, as Holochain tries to be initiative driven by both the community and team members, they recently pulled back and focused on core efforts to get the Holo hosting and Holochain live and functioning. Now, I'm going to stop right there just to mention this real quick. This is where I believe that there was some kind of miscommunication, not really miscommunication, miscommunication from those within the Holochain organization and then those who were investors, right? Because there was a certain time where, you know, it kind of fell off. They were kind of all over the place. They really didn't have any direction, and there were like all this rumors going around about certain the CEOs doing whatever. I don't know, but there was a lot going on, and I believe they really got refocused after during right before winter. I would say between August and really November. I believe they had some refocusing to do. They changed some things up, and a lot of people actually, I believe they had to shorten their staff, but also I could easily tell that there were some disagreements within about how to move forward. I believe that they tried to do a whole lot at once instead of focusing on one main area. So I think they just pulled back to focus on Holo hosting and Holochain to just get that running, get Holo Fuel going, and then after that, then they can focus on the things. They can focus on more things after that. So where those people went, I don't know. What happened, I don't know. But I do know that they really wanted to go into one solid direction. And in order to do that, they really had to change some things up, which, as you guys can tell, is working, has worked. Let's go ahead and continue. The communities around Holochain are developers that hold camps and houses, the hosting community composed of less technical people who can also participate by buying into the system in a plug and play, the fan community who supports the vision in terms of building the next internet as participatory, equal and decentralized, and also the speculators, who are the people that buy the token and nourish the credit system. Discord and Telegram are used for regular communication as well as for more complex discussions on projects and visions, but there are also other sub-communication channels for specific applications, such as Slack chats by invitation only. Me personally, I get a lot of my information from Twitter. I know Miss Mary likes to, I call her Miss Mary, but Miss Mary Camacho, she likes to tweet certain things and updates and stuff like that. And then also Paul Doust, I always get his name wrong, but yeah, him as well. All right, technical configurations. There is no single Holochain DOT. Every Holochain application has its own P2P encrypted network, and these cover the spectrum from public and permissions DLT to provide to private and permissioned depending on the rules of the application. The Holochain has an open source approach, while Holo hosting contains elements that are not open source. To access Holochain's chain, the user signs in with a private key, which is what allows the user to write his or her chain. Once this is done, the chain gets sharded to the distributed hash table and other nodes and validated. If someone finds that rules are broken, then they will mark users' data as rejected. For an application, everybody has the same copy of the core, which means the same data and the same rules. The sharded data store works as a distributed hash table. Data can be sharded across all nodes, but users can still be routed to the nodes that are holding the data very sensibly. This is how the Holochain DLT works. It is not a single chain, but each user has their own chain of only the state changes that have made and the actions they have taken. And then they are published to a shared space at a distributed hash table. It works like an index across millions of nodes. Holochain runs a specific type of apps called HAPs. This is maximizing individual sovereignty, as the user can choose which Holochain apps to run or install. Each Holochain application is a separate P2P network, but when the user is running on application, she or he is constrained to the rules of that application. Holo Hosting's main mission is to host Holochain applications. With Holo Hosting, the user is their own server that is using a distributed data engine underneath to break up and synchronize the data with the other nodes that also are their own servers. Holo Hosting allows some nodes running Holochain to share access capacity with web users who are not self-hosting, and they are paid to share this access capacity. It is a distributed hosting business. Instead of paying companies like Amazon, users pay P2P networks of host providers. Holo Fuel is an asset-backed currency by hosting power. I'm going to read that again. Holo Fuel is an asset-backed currency by hosting power. The issues of the currency become the producers of the value. It is a counting-based approach, a mutual credit system. They use REA, Resources Event Agent Accounting, which is a cross-organizational accounting between different economic agents exchanging auditable, and also it has the potential that every unit of accounts in a business becomes a cryptocurrency by virtue of being able to borrow against your production. Holochain claims to be in line with GDPR, as users can be the full owners and custodians of their data, which is always hosted on their own computers, in which they can selectively and temporarily share or revoke the share at any time. Thinking about the future. It says, a lesson learned at Holo is to keep smaller and focus while managing the growth slowly. A best future scenario would be where a majority of P2P initiatives create new social patterns for organizing and will be able to outcompete the old centralized commanding hierarchy controlled structures of the industrial age, because these cannot keep up with integrating information fast enough for a networked age. So obviously we see here that there are at least some people in Europe that are educated, and also way more educated than I am, I should say, but also understanding how distributed ledger technology works and how it can help better their ecosystem. So one of the main things that I just want to bring up real quick is the fact that while Holochain is a new technology, it's still going to take some time for people to adapt, because this is going to put a dent, as it stated before. What was it? I believe it was right here. It says, instead of paying companies like Amazon, users paid P2P networks of host providers. I mean, why, if I'm a company and I live in, I don't know, let's say I live in the Miami area, why would I need to pay Amazon when I can just pay? And there are going to be businesses that have their own that have their own Holo ports. So if a business have their own Holo ports and businesses are bouncing off of each other, it's going to get crazy. And they're supporting each other and they're helping each other, but they're also exchanging what? They're exchanging power and energy between each other. So I want to get back to, I want you guys to understand that it's extremely important for Holochain to take things slowly. But I also think that a lot is going to be happening within the next 3 months, specifically a couple of weeks, because recently I watched a YouTube video. If I find it, I'll send it to some of you guys that have my email. Well, Arthur Brock talks for like 2 hours. Maybe you can find it on YouTube. But he basically states that in the next couple of weeks, they're going to start, they're going to, I guess I'm paraphrasing here, but they're going to have web hosting for just regular web users, which we already talked about that, but that's also part of the roadmap. So we can see, and he said within a couple of weeks, so we can see that there's some advances going on. They haven't really specifically went down into the nuts and bolts of everything, but I got a feeling that that's coming up soon. As soon as that happens on Twitter, we're going to be covering that. As soon as I get an update on Twitter, because I'm always shifting through my Twitter account, I will let you guys know, and then we can move forward from there. Information is always important, but the fact that that they are taking a look at different cryptocurrencies is a very good sign. But also, it's not like they looked at all cryptocurrencies. I'm just going to go over real quick. Let's see here. Okay, so the projects that they took a look at: Polkadot, Creary, Pylon Network, Alice, Bloxburg, Holochain, Comchain, Wordproof, Giveth, Origin Trail. Do you guys notice something? You don't see Ethereum here. You don't see Dogecoin here. You don't see VeChain here or Chainlink here. And it's not that those projects aren't good. They're great projects. The projects that they're looking into are projects that can really create a new ecosystem, a better ecosystem throughout Europe, especially as many things in Europe are changing, and they're doing with a whole lot of, I don't know how that works, but you know, with the economic union, I don't know. Anyway, that's all political stuff. But there's a lot going on, especially this year. So, anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling. Thank you guys very much for checking it out. I really appreciate it. If I said anything off, please let me know. Thank you guys for your comments down below. You guys are always great. I appreciate all of the updated information as well. I really do. So we're all in this together. We're all improving together. So stay safe out there, you guys. That's the most important thing I want you to do. Obviously, I want you guys to do your own research, and that's also extremely important. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful day, and take it easy. Bye.